Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:01. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board who's feeling a bit under the weather, Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
I don't feel terrible.
Okay.
I'm just dealing with something.
You're just dealing with it. Yeah. Okay.
I am sore from almost 6,000 steps, and that's a lot for me yesterday through 2 airports.
Ugh.
I flew home last night. I got home around midnight.
Oh, Pete. Oh, my goodness.
Well, I was trying to maximize the trip down there to get everything I need to get done in 2 sites.
Right.
So Jensen Beach, I had to pull out as much as I could. One ballpark, the guys got back to me. The other one, the guy, I don't know if he retired. If
dear.
He ignored the text. I don't know. So I got what I could get out of the closet, but then I couldn't get the cameras down, and I was going to help him take down all the cables. And I'm like, well, if you're not going to get back to me, I'm not going to bother.
Right.
The other guys were great. They're like, oh, as soon as we heard you guys were leaving, we stripped everything down. It's in the office. You know, there's one camera we couldn't get quickly, so we'll take that down today. Come back this afternoon.
Okay.
Perfect.
Good. All right.
They're done.
Okay.
The other guy, I took out as much as I could out of the closet, which
Yeah.
is what I had a key for.
Yep.
And then it was like, well, and then I had some days built in where I was going to help them pack up the truck. Well, the guy that was going to do the truck work, knee surgery.
Right. I was going to say, you knew that ahead of time, though, right?
Right. So now I have extra
we talked
days.
about that. Right.
And I built in a late flight home because then I was like, well, I can run up on the way to Orlando. I can go a little further and go to Ocala, which is just north of Orlando.
Yeah, I know exactly where Ocala is.
Right.
Yeah.
And go to the Rotary Complex there, check in with those guys, and get them up to speed with what they need so they can be semi-self-sufficient.
Okay.
And so I did that, and I talked to the parks guys up there and showed them how to use the app.
Okay.
So they could see the cameras and adjust them on their own. They're like, oh, we know how to do that. They helped me put them up. And
so that part of the trip was good. I mean, that part went, you
Right.
were able to accomplish what you wanted to accomplish.
And I had some downtime, so I went to the pool, and then I went to the hot tub. Well, apparently the hot tub at 104 degrees is a perfect incubator for what was on my skin. It probably opens up the pores.
Yep.
And something got in, and so now I have cellulitis again.
And you're getting ready to go on a cruise.
And I leave on a cruise in 2 days.
Yeah. All right.
I'm already on antibiotics.
Yeah. Yep.
Because this is, I found that cellulitis can become a chronic thing. I've read about it.
Yes.
And once you have it once, you're more likely to get it in the
again.
same spot, same area.
Yep.
So now I'm prepared for it.
Yep.
I did have my my annual physical right before I left for Florida the first time. And my doctor was like, well, we'll prescribe the antibiotics so you're not without it on the ship. Well, I needed it before the ship. Luckily, I brought it with me to Florida, which was great.
Yeah.
I packed it in my bag.
I don't even know that I would have thought to do that. I mean,
I packed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I packed Tylenol for fever just in case.
Yeah.
I didn't want a trip to the hospital.
Yeah.
That was what I was trying to avoid.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep,
I'm
absolutely.
packing a lot of extra stuff for this trip just in case, and I'm
Yep.
going to get a renewal of the prescription. I think I can beat it down like on the boat. But just in case it's got to go to the end of the boat, and then I come home and deal with it more. But
Yeah.
I'm trying. That's why I was trying to have a relaxing trip.
Yeah.
Which I did.
Yeah. So that part of it was good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I got good sleep, so that's helpful too. But
Yeah,
it's
for
like,
sure. Yeah.
you gotta be joking.
I know.
Like, couldn't you wait till the end of my trip?
Exactly.
Like the last 2 days of the cruise, I wouldn't have minded.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Then I'm coming home and I could deal with it at home. And good Lord.
How did you do with flights and things, Pete? In terms of
I was smart this
Okay.
time.
I ask this only because I know of no one who has traveled anywhere in the last 4 years that hasn't had problems with flights.
Oh, they've severely cut back their flights because they've lost a lot of people to retirement.
Right.
It's the pilot. It's the pilots
Yeah.
have a shortage.
Right. Right.
Crew, flight
Yeah,
crew.
exactly.
So that's why I booked out of Orlando because I knew I had to go to Ocala,
Yep.
which is right near Orlando.
Yep.
I'd rather take the long drive down to Jensen Beach.
How long of a drive was it from the airport down to?
About 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if you had opted, what was your other option? To fly closer to Jensen Beach?
Closest other airport is West Palm Beach.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
West
Yeah,
Palm Beach.
West Palm.
PBI.
Okay.
Yeah, PBI.
Yep.
That's about an hour away.
Yeah.
But since I knew I had to finish it, plus everything is cheaper in Orlando than it is at West Palm.
Yeah. Yep.
Southwest does fly to West Palm, which is nice.
Yeah.
I fly only Southwest.
Okay. Yeah. Generally, when I was flying, that's what I was doing as well.
Well, because they have the companion, the
Yeah.
extra seat for bigger people,
Okay.
and they do it for free. So
Nice.
It's super helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So plus I found that Southwest still has, I think, 1 or 2 direct flights a day to Orlando. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have to change planes.
Right.
Which is also very helpful.
Yep.
So I took a late flight down and a late flight out. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get in the hotel the first night till about midnight.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get home. I mean, I took my flight
Yeah.
out was like 7:50,
Yeah.
which wasn't horrible. Mm-hmm. So, but the direct flights are nice
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
when you can
Yeah.
get them.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
Sure.
Southwest now flies out of Hartford directly to Nashville, and there's 2 airports that are within 2 hours of Florence, Alabama, and Nashville's easier one to get in and out of. So that's where I booked for the summer
Yep.
because I'm not driving 17 hours.
Yeah. And now when
I mean, I could if I had to carry all the equipment, I would have to do that, but
yeah, but you're not carrying the equipment. So
they said I don't have
the
to.
heck
So
would you have to? So when is the summer thing? Is that July or August? You don't have to give me
That's
dates, but just
July.
months. July.
I leave on 20th.
Okay.
I'm
so
only
end
gone
of
2
July.
weeks this year.
Okay. End of July, beginning of August. Okay.
Right. Yep. I'm only gone
to-
2
need
weeks.
to plan these
so
things.
boom, boom, in and out
Okay.
for that one relatively quickly. Kenny said he will not schedule vacation during that time, so you guys don't have to take time off if you don't want to.
You know what? It is what it is, Pete. We all work around it. So next week, just for our viewing audience, it will be a best of show because Pete will be
Right.
away.
And so will Ken.
And Kenny will be away as well, and that's fine. And my recommendation is, would you do me a favor, Pete, and make a note to do last week's show with Dr. Lovelace on the role of the primary care physician, which
Absolutely, it was a great show.
I thought that was an outstanding show.
That could have been a 2-hour show.
That it absolutely could have been. That was so interesting.
We may have to tape a show late in the afternoon some week when he's available, like after work.
Yeah. It is hard with him because he puts in really long days. I think by
Right.
the end of the day he's kind of spent. But yeah, I mean that was a great show. So we'll do that one as a best of for those of you who missed it. It was just outstanding. It was the role of the primary care provider. And we covered a lot of ground on that. We covered
And then
it
still barely scratch the surface.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it from, sort of the medical standpoint, the insurance standpoint, the business standpoint. I mean, there are a lot of facets to that. And I had said to Dr. Lovelace when we were emailing back and forth preparing for the show, I said, you can get as philosophical as you want in this, because I know he has some really strong opinions. And, you know, and opinions that have changed over the years as he's been in practice longer.
Yep.
And so I thought he did a really great job. So that's the one that we're going to play as a best of for next week. This week we have Jen DeFune will be on the show doing our Food for Thought segment, because it is the last Wednesday of the month. So she'll be on second hour. We have a lot of things to talk about today, a lot of ground to cover. So I'm excited about that. I saw in today's Westfield News that Councilor Bridget Matthews-Kane is going to give Representative Kelly Pease a little run for his money. She is going to run for state rep. That was on front page of today's Westfield News, and I was surprised at that.
I'm not totally.
Well, I mean, were you not? I was. I read the article in full, which was it's a great article, really interesting article. But just because of, I feel like she's got a lot on her plate with her. She has 4 children. I guess I'm sort of like, oh my gosh, how do you do that? But I think they're older now, I guess. But anyway, I think it's great, because I always think that competition is great. You know, I kind of don't like to see people run unopposed. I think it's nice when voters have options. So. Well,
I think Kelly's doing a pretty good job for us.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
It should be an interesting race.
It should be an interesting race. Again, because he didn't have an opponent the last time, I think it doesn't bring up to the voters what he is doing or isn't doing, or, you know, what they would like to see done or what they're happy about. You know, I mean, he didn't really have a chance to, I guess he had the opportunity, but I mean, you don't really do that when you're running unopposed. It's not, you know, it's just different.
We pulled him in. He comes on with Kenny fairly often.
Well, he has office hours, and I have to say, the legislators are great about having office hours at the senior center. So we now have 4 of them every month. So Representative Pease is the 3rd Monday.
Okay.
Senator Velas is the 4th Monday. They do them at the same time, 12:30 to 1:30. And then Ward 2 City Councilor Ralph Figge, because the senior center is in Ward 2.
Sure.
So he's generally the 2nd or the 3rd Wednesday in the morning. He brings donuts, you know, for for those of you, right? Exactly. Go, Ralph. And then Representative Finn, who is from West Springfield, but he covers
Ward 6.
He covers Ward 6 in Westfield. So Rep Finn's legislative aide is usually there on the 2nd Tuesday of the month. It's Brown Bag Day. That's how I can remember that. So he's there, I want to say like 11 to 12 or something like that. It's late morning. So, which is really great. So people have an opportunity, to talk to all these folks.
Their elected officials should interact with them.
Yeah.
That's why we encourage them to come on here.
Yep.
And we don't force them to come on here.
Of course not.
When, if you got something to get off your chest, like we've had different city councilors just reach out, and they tend to gravitate to Kenny for some reason, because he makes it funny.
Yeah.
He makes it, and they'll reach out and say, I need to get something off my chest, and he'll generally clear his schedule for them.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. As I think that we all would. I mean, I certainly would, do that as well. And of course, Ken and I split it during an election year on just, interviewing as many of the city councilors who are running for office. And, again, it takes the 2 of us a month to kind of get them all in and to at least make the offer. Some take us up on it and some don't. But, things are going to get interesting. So that's great. That's awesome. I'm going to do one birthday before we take our first break, because that way everybody will know why I'm playing this song. Today is April 24th, so there are a lot of things going on today. I mean, we have some birthdays, we have some national days, all kinds of stuff that we'll talk about. It is the birthday of singer-author Kelly Clarkson. She's 42 years old, born in Fort Worth, Texas on this day. She won the first season of American Idol way back in 2002, which it seems hard to believe that those kind of shows, because it really kind of started with, American Idol. I
have an old clip that goes with that.
Oh, good.
Why don't you pull on Sweetie Pie Hole? Como se llama? No, Kelly Clarkson!
Do you know what that's from?
No.
Do you remember the movie The 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I remember the movie. I didn't see it.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, he's getting waxed.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Those are what he yells out when they're pulling the tape. You hear the tape rip?
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha, yeah. Okay, so she won in 2002 the $1 million prize of an RCA record contract. Kelly Clarkson's first single, A Moment Like This, jumped from number 52 to number 1 on the Billboard charts, and her second album, Breakaway, earned 2 Grammy Awards. Clarkson went on to establish herself as a leading pop star with her second album, Breakaway, in 2004. The album spawned several big hits, including Since You've Been Gone, Breakaway, Behind These Hazel Eyes, and Walk Away. It also earned Clarkson 2 Grammy Awards in 2005, one for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance for Since You've Been Gone, and another for Best Pop Vocal Album. Clarkson followed with numerous hit singles, including Because of You and Stronger. The artist has also published children's books and served as a coach on The Voice.
Does she still have her talk show?
I believe that she does. Yeah.
Yeah, I know she had that for a long time.
Yep, I believe that she does because I feel like I just saw her in a commercial for that. So anyway, happy birthday, happy 42nd birthday to Kelly Clarkson. And with that, we're going to take our first break and listen to her sing Stronger, What Doesn't Kill You. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses, and WCPC cable channel 15. We'll be back after this break.
You know the bed feels warmer, sleeping here alone. You know I dream in color and do the things I want. You think you got the best of me, think you've had the last laugh, bet you think that everything good is gone. Think you left me broken down, think that I'll come running back. Baby, you don't know me 'cause you're dead wrong. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. What doesn't kill you makes a fighter. Footsteps even lighter. Doesn't mean I'm over 'cause you're gone. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, stronger. Just me, myself, and I. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. You heard that I was starting over with someone new. They told you I was moving on over you. You didn't think that I'd come back swinging. You tried to break me, but you see what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. What doesn't kill you makes a fighter. Footsteps even lighter. Doesn't mean I'm over 'cause you're gone. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, stronger. Just me, myself, and I. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. Thanks to you, I got a new thing started. Thanks to you, I'm not the broken hearted. Thanks to you, I'm finally thinking about me. You know, in the end, the day you left was just my beginning. In the end, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. What doesn't kill you makes a fighter. Footsteps even lighter. Doesn't mean I'm over 'cause you're gone. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, stronger. Just me, myself, and I. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone.
Underwriting support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business for the Greater Westfield communities. Informing, educating, advocating, the Chamber provides opportunities for members to make meaningful connections on local, regional, and state levels. For more information on the Chamber's many events, workshops, and programs, as well as the benefits of membership, visit westfieldbiz.org. The Chamber focuses on the most important economy, yours.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:20. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles. In between sort of vacation getaways kind of thing, we squeezed him in. Just a couple of days, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, today and tomorrow. And is Harry Rock going to be doing his show after
Yes,
this? Yeah.
he has Bill Westerlin talking about art,
The
articulture.
Articulture. Very good. All right. So today, April 24th, is the birthday of Shirley MacLaine, actress, dancer, singer, author, born on this day in 1934 in Richmond, Virginia. Shirley MacLaine is 90 years old today.
Wow.
I know, right? That is hard to believe. This just cracks me up. Known for her portrayals of quirky, strong-willed, and eccentric women, Shirley MacLaine has received numerous accolades over her 8-decade career, including an Academy Award, an Emmy Award, 2 BAFTA Awards, 6 Golden Globe Awards, 2 Volpe Cups, and 2 Silver Bears. The daughter of a drama teacher, she started out as a dancer. Her parents enrolled her in ballet when she was a toddler. MacLaine got a taste for performing at a dance school recital. Around this time, she became a big sister with the birth of her brother, Warren Beatty. He would grow up to be a successful actor in his own right. Summers during high school, MacLaine went to New York City to study her craft and to pursue her dream of being an entertainer. She landed a part in the chorus in a new production of the musical Oklahoma after her junior year. Now, this is high school, mind you. MacLaine's big break came in the mid-1950s with the Broadway musical The Pajama Game. I was in The Pajama Game back in the day. She was a member of the show's chorus as well as an understudy for one of its lead characters. After producer Hal Wallace saw her perform, Shirley MacLaine landed a contract with Paramount Pictures. She made her film debut in 1955's The Trouble with Harry, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Films include The Apartment with Jack Lemmon, Sweet Charity, Terms of Endearment with Deborah Winger and Jack Nicholson, and Steel Magnolias with Olympia Dukakis, Sally Field, Dolly Parton, and Julia Roberts. Do you know I have never seen the movie Steel Magnolias?
I don't think I have
That's
either.
crazy. I got to see that. I mean, what a cast. MacLaine has enjoyed a substantial second career as an author. She published her first memoir, Don't Fall Off the Mountain, in 1970. Since then, MacLaine has chronicled her experiences and explored numerous aspects of her life in several more volumes. She wrote about her 1973 tour of China in You Can Get There From Here and delved into her New Age beliefs and reincarnation in 1983's Out on a Limb. So happy 90th birthday to the very quirky Shirley MacLaine. And I'm trying to think. So Terms of Endearment, I think that movie was done in, I believe, in the 70s or 80s. But all I remember about that was her daughter, played by Deborah Winger, gets a diagnosis of terminal diagnosis. And I just remember the scene in the hospital where the daughter needs pain medication. And, you know, Shirley MacLaine, as the mom, is sitting bedside. And, you know, they politely say, you know, she needs pain medication. And, you know, it's one of those, oh, yeah, we'll be with you in a few minutes kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that happened several times. And then Shirley MacLaine tears out to the nurse's station and just makes this scene, just screaming like, my daughter is dying. She needs pain medication now, not like in an hour, not in 2 hours. And I will never forget that scene because I was working hospice at the time. I was doing an internship with Hospice of Hampshire County. And it just really resonated with me, I mean, when somebody's in pain and they're terminal, yeah, they don't want to have to wait. So.
Right, yeah.
So happy birthday, happy 90th birthday to Shirley MacLaine. And the other really interesting birthday today by someone who's quite famous in the entertaining business is Barbra Streisand. She is 82 years old today, born in 1942 in Brooklyn, New York. Obviously a famous singer, actress, and filmmaker. Barbra Streisand had a painful childhood, and she did not attend college. Instead, she moved to Manhattan, and she worked as a cabaret singer. Her Broadway debut led to a recording contract and a long series of gold records. Over her career, Barbra Streisand has mastered nearly every entertainment medium available. She has sold approximately 250 million records worldwide and is the only artist to have earned honors from all the major award institutions, including 2 Academy Awards, 1 Tony Award, 5 Emmys, 10 Grammys, 13 Golden Globes, a Cable Ace Award, and the University of Georgia's George Foster Peabody Award and the American Film Institute's Lifetime Achievement Award.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of awards. In 2015, Barbra Streisand was further honored as a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Earlier movies include Hello, Dolly, On a Clear Day You Can See Forever, The Owl and the Pussycat, and What's Up, Doc? Up the Sandbox became one of the first American movies to deal with the growing women's movement. In the 1970s, Barbra Streisand successfully married her film and musical interests, first with the hit film The Way We Were, and then in 1976 with A Star is Born. Other hit films include The Prince of Tides and The Mirror Has Two Faces. Hit songs include People, Evergreen, You Don't Bring Me Flowers, that one she did with Neil Diamond, who they were high school classmates. And I remember talking about that. And there was a third one that was in their class too. And I want to say that it was either Paul Simon or Garfunkel, but I could be wrong about that. But there were 3 of them. I do remember that when I talked about Neil Diamond. So I got to go look that up. Woman in Love, The Way We Were, and my personal favorite, Somewhere from the movie that is now, I'm drawing a blank.
What was the song?
Somewhere. It's from, the 2 rival gangs. Oh, my God.
West Side Story?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. All right. So anyway, birthday of Barbra Streisand, birthday of Shirley MacLaine, birthday of Kelly Clarkson, a lot of strong women.
Oh, Kelly Clarkson.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
That's a great scene.
It is a great scene.
Because all his buddies they're all in there with him and they're laughing at him while he's screaming all these things.
Why is he having a waxing done?
They said it was kind of the time when metrosexual was big. And they're like, you're 40-year-old, you can't find, he's a 40-year-old virgin.
Oh,
so
yeah,
they're trying to
yeah,
get
yeah.
him,
Okay.
the premise
So
is they're trying to get him all souped up.
Okay.
And so they're like, you need to be waxed because you have all this body hair. And
I can't imagine like a waxing on a guy. Like if they were doing,
brutal.
Yeah, I can't
and
even
Steve
imagine.
Carell is the guy that's yelling all that.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, he's really funny anyways.
And when did that movie come out? That's an old movie too, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, right?
Oh, God.
That was a while ago.
I think that was in the 90s.
Yeah, I think
2005.
so too. Oh, 2005. Okay, more recent than I thought. Of course, 2005 was like almost 20 years ago. It's hard, which is kind of hard to believe.
But Steve Carell said he was covered in body hair, and he said they did it, and they didn't. I don't think they wrote any line. I think they wrote
they
anything.
didn't edit. They just.
I don't think they wrote anything for it.
Just let it happen.
They just let it happen. His actual reactions, and it was like, and he's just covered in body hair.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. All right, is right.
Just go watch the trailer. It's in the trailer.
Yeah. All right. So I'll tell you what, let's take a break. It is 6:29. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. In honor of the birthday of Shirley MacLaine, I chose the movie theme from the Terms of Endearment.
By the way, you're previewing what Bobby G has on his show this week.
What's he doing?
He's usually does a theme with his music.
Yeah.
And he's doing sound scores from movies.
Oh, from movies.
So it's all going to be instrumentals, I think.
Yeah. And you know what? There are some great scores. And this this is one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
So this is from the Terms of Endearment, and we'll be back.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Join us every Thursday morning
from 6 until at least 7:30.
Check out the Bobby G and Company Show
right here on WSKB 89.5
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:34. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
So I am wearing, you can't really see it very well. Let me see.
Run Westfield shirt.
I am wearing my Run Westfield shirt.
That's the May 5th?
It is May 4th.
May 4th.
So we had to talk about it this week because we won't be here next week.
Correct.
So, because it's a week from Saturday. So I'm counting down
damn
here.
coming home.
It's the day you're coming home. So we need to
Late.
talk about this a little bit because my family thinks I'm crazy because you might recall that last year after Run Westfield, that Monday I came in with my face all banged up because I crumpled to the ground about 10 yards from the finish line. Thankfully, some good Samaritans helped me up, and it wasn't that I tripped. It wasn't that I fell. I dehydrated, and so I remember saying to the family on the way home as we were going home, I don't really know if if I want to do this race again. My one complaint about this race is the time that we run it. It's at 1:00 in the afternoon, and I'd rather be either first thing in the morning or a little bit later when it's a little bit cooler.
Well, I don't know. It's been pretty cool late. It's been very cool.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll be good. And I am that much wiser for the mistakes that I made. Because, certain things that you drink cause the fluid to get like coffee and tea. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I am a tea drinker. So I will be much more careful. And
no caffeine, lots of Pedialyte or Gatorade.
Correct. So Gary thinks I'm crazy, but Grace understands. She goes, Dad, Mom wants to redeem herself. And so here's my philosophy this year. My watch broke. My running watch, where I time myself, broke. Well, I'm not sure if it broke or it just needs a battery, but it stopped working about a week ago.
Is that not a good sign or no?
I thought that was a great sign because I am now not focused at all on my time. I go out and I do my runs. I'm focusing on my body mechanics, on my breathing, on how I feel. And I have to live true to my word, which I said to Grace. I said, I really don't care what my time is on this race, which is not usually this race. I really try to run it fast because it is a good opportunity to do a good time. I said, but my goal this year is to run this race so that, and I am determined, I will be sprinting across the finish line. I don't care how slow my time is, but when I get to that last, 20 yards, 25 yards, whatever, I am sprinting. When I hit that corner, around the corner where the Athenaeum is, yep. That's it. Once I'm on that straightaway, I said I'm sprinting. So my time may not be anywhere close to what it usually is, but it's going to be. But I'm going to finish strong. That's my goal, to finish strong. So the road race is on May 4th. For those of you who would like to, come out and support us, the race starts at 1:00. So I should be crossing that. Well, there are a lot of runners. So somewhere between 1:30 and 1:45, and that's really just depending on where I start in the line, which will be a little bit farther back. So it takes a little while to get up to the mat where you actually, cross the mat and start your time chip going. But it is not too late to register. You can register online and, just go to runwestfield.org or .com or whatever the heck it is. But there's all kinds of information on it. There's been information in the Westfield News. And there's a party afterward. There's a big block party afterward. So if you, just want to come and cheer people on, they also have walkers. You can certainly do it as a walk, and we've had lots of people that have done that. It's going to be wonderful this year because everything's paved and, good to go. Western Avenue is going to be beautiful.
It's in good shape.
So, so we're crossing our fingers for good weather. And as I said, I will be hydrated. So this is my favorite. This is not the newest Run Westfield shirt. I mean, as you know, I ran last year. Mm-hmm. But this was my favorite. And I wore this also because Harry Rock is going to be here after the show. This was the 350 year. Oh, okay. And I just love the color. It's like a blue-gray. I love the feel of it, the material they use. It's a really nice, soft cotton. And I love the colors. A little purple in there, a little red. So that is coming up a week from Saturday. So join us. All right, April is National Community College Month, and I got to spend some time talking about this. So, with the founding of Joliet Junior College, which was near Chicago, Illinois, in 1901, America's community colleges have a long history of transforming lives and serving as on-ramps to economic and social mobility. Over the past 122 years, our nation's community colleges have grown to become integral in the fabric of our education system, serving 30% of all post-secondary students. They are situated to be accessible to virtually every community across the country. Our community colleges provide open access to students from all walks of life, including incumbent workers and adults seeking to upskill through credential and degree programs, as well as youth, both in high school through dual enrollment and after high school as they pursue higher education and career-connected learning. For all students, community colleges create seamless pathways to economic opportunity and financial stability. Community colleges provide students with inclusive, accessible pathways to post-secondary education, good jobs, and bright futures. The programs and services they offer are vital to our growing economy in fields such as infrastructure, science and technology, innovation, advanced manufacturing, healthcare, childcare and family services, clean energy, and education. Community colleges also help to address key issues that people across our nation are facing, such as food and housing insecurity, transportation, and the mental and emotional needs of students and their families. In short, without community colleges, our nation would be at both a competitive disadvantage and unable to move forward economically. The impact of our community colleges is extensive and pervasive. Over 10.2 million students are enrolled in community colleges, 35% of all undergrads nationwide. About 66% attend part-time, 34% full-time. Community college students are diverse. 27% are Hispanic, 12% are African American, 6% are Asian American or Pacific Islander, and 1% are American Indian or Alaska Native. So about half are Caucasians. Every year, community colleges help Americans earn over 877,000 associate degrees, nearly 600,000 career and technical certificates, and over 25,000 bachelor's degrees. Over half of adults in our country with a bachelor's degree attended community colleges in their post-secondary trajectories. So
it's a lot cheaper to start that way.
I have been all about community colleges for a long time, and lately I'm over the top with them. I agree. Gary was telling me about one of his hurdlers, because he coaches track and field at 2 different high schools and also at Hampshire College. But he was asking one of his hurdlers yesterday, she's a senior, she's graduating, and he said, well, what are you going to be doing? And she said, I'm going to be going to Holyoke Community College, studying education, because she said, I want to get a 4-year degree, but I can't afford to go to a 4-year college right out of the gate.
Well, that's all the problem with colleges. They're so expensive.
They're ridiculous. The Republican did a story about 2 weeks ago on the cost of colleges. Some of your, like BU, BC, Wellesley.
Mount Holyoke's over 80.
Oh, well, these colleges there was not one of them that they listed that was under $90,000 per year.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. And I also am a proponent of look at what you want to major in. If you go to a 4-year school.
Yeah. What's your return on investment?
There you go, Pete. There you go.
Well, the other thing, too, is somebody brought this up, and I don't remember who. As long as the government backs student loans, the colleges will never decrease loans. And part of the problem is some professors' salaries are outrageous. Mm-hmm. There's a professor at UConn, because I was looking it up because my girlfriend was talking about it. Yeah. One of the professors has never worked in the private sector, but yet writes economics papers about the private sector.
Yeah.
And makes $364,000 a year. That's just listed.
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's
a professor.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. Well, and you know
he's
what?
never worked a day in the private sector. It's like, how do you teach if you're just doing theory?
Yeah. And the other thing, too, about that is, you know, as Gary used to say when we were in college and when both of us taught at the college level for many years.
Yep.
And Gary used to say, it's like you definitely have some professors that, you know, they've been teaching for 20 years. And Gary said, yep, they've been teaching. Have they taught 1 year for 20 years or have they taught 20 years worth of stuff? So in other words, have you grown into, you know, have you evolved as whatever you're teaching has evolved?
A lot of professors at the community college level actually works in the fields they're teaching.
Yes, exactly. Yep. And you
both my professors at Stick, when I went there, one won an Emmy for his filmmaking on Sesame Street.
Yep.
And the other one was an accomplished news writer before he went crazy and became a religious nut.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's probably why he got drummed out of the news business.
Yeah.
But he was still a good. I considered him a good professor, although I challenged him a lot.
Yep.
You know, but they were both good professors, and it's like those are the people that you want teaching.
Absolutely.
Not some of this craziness that's going on right now.
Yeah,
It's like,
I am right there with you, and you're absolutely right, Pete. And I, you know, I can attest to Holyoke Community College, which I think is just a fabulous resource. You know, my daughter Grace is attending there. She has a 4-year degree. She went to Westfield State. Didn't do a lot with that degree. Has a passion for working with animals. So during the pandemic was a perfect time to kind of reevaluate and like, what do I really want to do? And, you know, she did it. This was such a perfect scenario for a community college. During the pandemic, she took up the vet assistant program. It was a 2-semester certificate program.
Good way to get your feet wet.
Exactly. I said to her, Grace, I said, there's not a big financial outlay here. It's very doable. It's 2 semesters, and you see how you like it. And, you know, and that was her thought. It was like, okay, you know, I'm not doing anything else right now anyway, because everybody was like in a lockdown, whatever. Mm-hmm. So she did that. 3 weeks into that program, Pete, she came home and she said, because Holyoke Community then has a 2-year associate's degree vet tech program.
It's a good way to audition for it almost.
Exactly. That's what it was. It was like sort of a trial. Let's see how we like this. Well, 3 weeks into it, she said, I love it. I'm going for the 2. She said, I'm going to get the certificate. Then she took the exam because one of her professors had said, or instructors had said, you don't necessarily have to take the assistant exam because you're going for the 2-year program. I said, get
any certificate.
Exactly. I said,
my uncle told me that.
Yep.
If you qualify for it, you think you can pass a test, get the certificate.
Absolutely. And I said that to Grace. I said, because
then you can start working.
Know. Yep, exactly.
Well, but then you could start working and pay for your further education.
And bingo. So here's the Grace, community college story. So she did the certificate program. The second semester, she had to do what they call an externship or an internship, whatever you want to call it. She did it up at the VCA Animal Hospital up on Montgomery Road, right next to Westfield High School. They loved her. So they asked her to come back next semester. Now the next semester, she started the vet tech program, which is a 2-year program. They contacted her and said, do you want to come and work for us? We'll pay you. And so Grace said, well, now she was in school full time. This was before she was was pregnant and had the baby. So she said, I'm in school full time. I don't have a lot of wiggle room here. And they said, that's okay. We will work around your schedule. We need some part-time workers. They love her because her part-time work is like she works later in the day and then helps close. And, a lot of people with a lot of the other employees there with families don't really want to work. They don't want to work the 2:30 to 8:30 or 9 o'clock shift. So now she's in the vet tech program, 2-year program. She switched she was full-time. She did the first year full-time and then got pregnant, had the baby. So now she's part-time, which, again, was another option. So it's taken her a little longer, but that's okay. Her professor, I can't say enough about her instructors, her professors, the support system there. They have worked around her, her nursing. They gave her a room to pump because last semester she had classes, and she was there all day, and she said, I'm breastfeeding. And they said, oh, well, guess what? We have a special room for that because we have to accommodate. So they've just been fabulous. I cannot say enough. And I think the other, sort of hidden gem, Pete, you brought up is Stick, because Stick is a vocational community college.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it really is. And so they really offer a whole lot of things that I think are not.
I went there for telecommunications.
I just think it's just, these are just great programs. They are just great programs. And I know Holyoke Community has childcare for, while you're in classes, you can get free childcare, and they have a food pantry there. And, I can't say enough about the community college, the whole system. And I think that there are too many students who go to a four-year college who don't know what they want to do. And as you pointed out, Pete, it's a tremendous amount of money to be there, kind of floundering around. And that also is why a lot of students are not graduating from a four-year college in 4 years. It's taking them 5 or sometimes even 5.5 or 6 years, because by the time they figure out what they want to do, it's like, well, I have all these credits, but now I need these other credits to get, to graduate with the major that I really want.
Sure.
And that's just a lot.
By the way, circling back to your T-shirt.
Yes, my T-shirt.
What are you doing on May 3rd? Friday night.
Getting ready for May 4th. Well, I'm picking up my packet, my T-shirt. Why? What's going on May 3rd?
Do you have to do that in Westfield?
I do.
Where?
At the Blessed Sacrament Church, I think is where we went last year.
Because
Why? What's going on?
They're dedicating the new pavilion, which will be also part of the block party. The new pavilion next to the PVTA building.
Oh.
And Whiskey Traveler will be playing at 5 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that should be doable.
They're doing the ribbon cutting, and then Whiskey Traveler will be playing that night.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's doable. Great.
So the dedication's at 5, and Whiskey Traveler starts playing at 6.
Okay, well that's fine, because I think the your race pickup stuff, they give you a window. It's like whatever it is, like 4 in the afternoon till 8 or something like that. You have a pretty good window there.
There you go.
We ought to be able to fit some other stuff in there. All right. Okay.
So that's going to be big. I'm happy that they're the first band.
I am too. I think that's great. Yep. All right. It is 6:50. You are listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. We are going to listen to, in honor of the birthday of Barbara Streisand, we're going to listen to her singing Somewhere. We'll be back.
Oh, hold on one second.
We will.
I got so involved in.
I know, in the whole community college thing. That's okay. While you're pulling that up, I just want to tell you this. So this is a little trivia tidbit about Barbara Streisand. Her mother told her when she was younger, and she, knew she kind of wanted to start entertaining and so forth. And I left this out of the thing, but her mother told her she would never make it as an entertainer because she didn't have the looks.
All right, I got the song.
And so, yeah, here's to you, Mom.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for Arts Beat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:56. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles, who is, are you waking up there, Pete? Pete had a late night.
Yeah, I didn't.
Late flight.
My flight didn't get in until 10:45, and I didn't get home until midnight. So.
Yeah, that's it is.
I'm okay. I woke up okay, but I'm sure by about when I finish.
That's the problem.
I have a long day today because I have an hour back until 1 o'clock. So
yeah, and then you know what, you're going to be toast after that.
I'm going to go home and I'll finish my day there.
Right,
Let's say
exactly.
that.
Let's just say that. Yeah, okay. All right, so listen, the Wednesday of the last full week in April, we have to talk about this. We have to do it now before all these bosses head to work. It is National Administrative Professionals Day. So all you bosses out there, you have to remember this. So before there was an Administrative Professionals Day, there was a National Secretaries Day that was created back in 1952. We've come a long way since then, and so have the job and the celebration. This National Day of Recognition has gone through several evolutions to reflect changing administrative titles and responsibilities in the modern workforce. While its moniker has changed, the purpose of Administrative Professionals Day remains the same: to celebrate and shed light on the many contributions of devoted and valued administrative professionals. In today's workplace, which includes a mix of remote, hybrid, and in-office employees, recognizing the efforts of your support staff is more important than ever. Administrative professionals have proven instrumental to the teams they support, tackling new challenges and exhibiting grace under pressure while helping employees stay connected, engaged, and productive. Administrative roles are incredibly diverse, and they continue to evolve, with these professionals often going above and beyond their regular duties. Administrative professionals provide real benefits to the teams they support and the organization at large, and their work should not go unnoticed. And given the important role many administrative staff play in contributing to today's rapidly changing work environment, they deserve their time in the spotlight more than ever. And I agree with that. I've always been a big proponent of this. If you're looking for ways to honor the members of your administrative teams, going the traditional route and sending a gift card is a nice choice. But if you're searching for alternative ways to show your appreciation, try one of these ideas. First of all, a kind word. A thank you can go a long way, but don't leave it at that. Let your administrative team know how their work has helped you or the department. Share praise from happy clients, celebrate achievements, and recognize your workers publicly by acknowledging their contributions with peers. An even nicer touch is a verbal commendation followed by a thank you card or an e-card. Administrative professionals can keep these accolades, reminding them of how much they are appreciated. Rest and relaxation. Administrative professionals work hard, and it can be difficult to find personal time to unwind. If policies allow you to do so, give them some flexibility to log off early and to recharge. New opportunities. Show your administrative team members you're invested in their future by offering new professional challenges and opportunities. If they are interested, ask them to oversee a project or encourage them to consider joining a mentorship program. A gesture like this will show that you value a team member's contributions and career growth and have confidence in their skills and abilities. Professional development. Offer reimbursement for professional organization memberships or online courses. Administrative professionals are eager to learn and expand their skills, and they need to stay abreast of the latest technologies and best practices in their field. When you encourage employees to grow in their careers, the results benefit the entire organization. Your hardworking team will likely appreciate any act of gratitude, no matter how big or small. Even if you're working with a limited budget, you can make an administrative professional's day. So everybody needs to remember that.
Yeah.
So it's good. Some good tips, some good thoughts. So I'm no longer the executive director of the Council on Aging, as you all know, but I do think it's really important to acknowledge administrative professionals. So I would like to publicly thank the 3 that work at the Senior Center currently. The person who has worked at the Senior Center the longest is Sandra Fisher. She is our greeter at the front desk. And since we have gotten this new executive director who is very tech savvy, Sandra has had to become kind of tech savvy, something that she didn't have to do prior to the arrival of Michael Squindo. And she is doing wonderfully well. I mean, I think she has exceeded everyone's expectations on what she's able to handle.
It's amazing how adaptable humans are.
Yes. And the one thing I have always said this about Sandra, others of us fear change. I mean, she doesn't love change, but she does embrace learning new things. And she'll often say that. I love to learn new things, and she's really kind of being forced into that, but she's doing a fabulous job.
Think about all the Alzheimer's research that says that if you keep your brain active.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
She's ahead of the curve.
She is. So she's doing great. The person who's been there second longest is Carol Shannon, our principal clerk. Carol's been there, I think she's on her 20th or her 21st year, because she's a year or 2 ahead of me. So she arrived on the scene, I think a year and a half before I did.
I got most of you beat then.
Yeah. And
I'm on like year 24.
Oh, yeah, you've got all of us. No, not Sandra. Sandra's over 25 years now. She's over 25 years. She was there. She has been through 1, 2, 3. I think she's on her 4th or 5th director. We haven't had that many. The only director she didn't work under was Gladys Lagadich. She was the first director, but she was hired by Sophia Bosquet. Oh, no. Sophia Bosquet, Chris Roncolato, and then Ann Heiser, and then me, and then Mike Squindo. She's on her 5th director. So she's been here. Yeah, she's been here a long time. Carol's on her 4th director, but Sandra beats her out on that. And then our 3rd person is our most recent hire, and that is Fran St. Peter Sanft, who Fran used to be the principal of Franklin Elementary School.
I know Fran, yeah.
She retired. And when I was director, I was famous for hiring people who retired and then bringing them back and saying, okay, just come and work for us part-time. I did that with the city auditor when we hired Happy Daly. I did it with Carol Palmer, who didn't work for the city, but worked for the YMCA.
Yeah.
It's
good to still have a purpose.
Oh, my gosh. And so Fran
you can retire from the thing that you called work.
Right. And then
it's okay to still have a purpose.
Absolutely. So anyway, thank you to our administrative professionals. You will have a little surprise when you get to work today.
Outstanding.
It is 7:04. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses.
Time to hear from the Queen.
And time WCPC Cable Channel 15. We'll be back after this top of the hour break.
Underwriting for Community Radio on WSKB is brought to you in part by Rockies. Over 30 convenient locations throughout Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Florida. One of the nation's largest ACE dealers. Expertise and great product selection in paint, hardware, lawn and garden. That's Rockies. Rock solid service since 1926. On the web at rockies.com.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for Arts Beat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:07. Hold on, I have to turn Jen's mic down.
Oh, her headphones. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do I sound better now?
Yeah.
Just loud.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to tell. It's hard to adjust. And when we used to be at the old studio up at the college, we didn't have control over that. Pete had to adjust it for us on the other side of the board. But now I can do that for you. Okay. So my guest this morning, second hour, it is the last Wednesday of the month. It is Jen DeFune. So we've decided that Jen used to be the fourth Wednesday of the month. We're not going to do that anymore. It's too confusing between Diabetes Dialogue, which is the last Tuesday of the month, and now we're just going to line it up. And on this show, it's going to be the last Wednesday of the month.
Well,
so
you
sometimes
have to explain. I went to the diabetes support group a week early yesterday.
Jen was early yesterday. I mean, but we're all over the map with this. It's also confusing because she does a topic for that. She does a topic for here. So last month she did the topic that she was going to do this month for the Diabetes Dialogue. So, and the thing is that I do like to promote all of these things. So I want to try to keep everything straight. In fact, the press release was in the paper yesterday about next week's Diabetes Dialogue group, except that I forgot to change the topic. Oh. So they still had it as, how to handle diabetes when you're ill, which Jen did last month, but that's okay. That's
I've decided
right. She's here.
I need an administrative assistant.
Yes.
Yesterday I decided it's time.
Well, funny story about that. So when we were at the old senior center and I first started, Barbara Coleman, who is probably listening, and we love you, Barbara. So Barbara was a volunteer at the senior center. Her mom was still living at the time, and she was helping out in the kitchen. She would help Sandy out in the kitchen. And anyway, but she started volunteering to help me out in whatever, with whatever I needed. So a lot of times we'd have like flyers that needed to be hung, you want to hang them throughout the downtown area. And Barbara's a walker, so she said, I'll hang them while I walk. And, there were just like different things, stuffing envelopes and all this other stuff. So, it was great. So I was meeting with, at that time, State Representative Don Humison, and I said something about, I said, oh my gosh, I said, Barbara Coleman, she was like sent from heaven. She's like my personal assistant. I said, it's amazing. I said, everybody needs one of these. And he said to me, I used to have one. Her name was Barbara Coleman, and now she's over at the senior center every day helping you. And he said, she used to be in my office helping me.
That's funny.
Yeah, wasn't that great? All right. So, but Jen is here. So we have a lot of things happening. I have been talking for the last 3 weeks about April 27th, which is this Saturday, stuff going on at the senior center. And I've been telling people to get ready for this. So first of all, the shredding event. And this happens every year. We announce it, we post it, we do everything we can. And I guarantee you, 3 days, sometime next week, somebody's going to call the senior center saying, isn't there going to be a shredding event this year? Yes, the shredding event is this coming Saturday. It is in 3 days. I am working feverishly. I've been like purging everything, personal files. So I've done that at home. That was this past weekend. So that box is ready. I've been busy at my office, like going through everything. I can't believe how much stuff. And then Joyce Peregrine, who our companion program, she said, oh, is that this weekend? I said, yes. And I will be there working both. I will be working that event and the other event we're going to talk about in a second. I said, so if you have anything, you have to get it to me now. So you are allowed up to 3 boxes. They do ask for a donation. It's for CSF Westfield, Dollars for Scholars. So all of that scholarship money stays in Westfield for our high school students. It's $5 a box is what the suggested donation is. So it is this Saturday, 9 to 11 in the Senior Center parking lot. Please make sure that you enter from Murphy Circle, which is the entrance to the Senior Center. And we're going to snake you through the parking lot, I'll tell you right now, because, the truck will be kind of where the exit is at the Senior Center parking lot. But we'll snake you through. Bring your boxes of documents to be shredded. And I think that's really all you need. You stay in your car. They have volunteers and helpers that do everything. You'll get your boxes back. They literally take the boxes, they dump it into whatever the bins are for the truck, and then you get your boxes back. So, Jen, you had asked if they could, you have yours in plastic bins.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's fine because they're going to dump it and you're going to get your plastic bin back. You're ready.
I'm going to go
You're ready.
and
Yeah.
go through all my stuff because I usually pay a lot for that.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah. I mean, so it's, it's very reasonable, and the money it's all going to the community.
Right.
It's a donation back to the community. So that is in the Senior Center parking lot from 9 to 11. They do ask no early birds, please, because it takes us a while to set up the parking lot, especially since on the very same day, from 10 to 2 that day, we are doing the police department will be at the Senior Center working with us on National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. So they will be collecting your medications, your prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, vitamins, supplements, pet medications, ointments, liquids. Just please make sure that they're very tightly sealed. I put mine in a Ziploc bag too, just for that. So that will be Saturday, April 27th, 10 to 2. So I was telling Jen off air that I said to my husband, I said to Gary, well, we need to go through because we're doing drug take back. He goes, well, I think we're good. I mean, we try to keep up with all of that. And of course, there is a drug. You can drop them off at the police station anytime. That's 24/7. But still, this is just so easy. It's right at the Senior Center, and I can just hand it right to Todd Edwards, Police Officer Edwards. So anyway, I said to Gary, well, we haven't really done a deep dive into the medicine cabinet, the closet. So remember, it's not just prescription drugs, which is what I've focused on. Those were, we had a few that had expired, but it was like the ointments and the creams, throat lozenges, by the way, like cough drops and throat. They all have expirations that are listed on the bag. So I'm pulling ointments out from that expired. Now they expired. That's not when I bought them. They expired in 2006, 2007. So I thought, oh my gosh, this is really embarrassing. But I told Jen off air, the oldest one that I found, which I think was some kind of an ointment or a cream, 2001. Yep. 2001. I said to Gary, I said, remember that you said you thought we were good on all those medications? And I have 3 bags of all this stuff. And he said, yeah. And I said, yeah, well, Gary, the oldest one expired in 2001. He said, what? And, the problem is that you think you're going to use it, even if it's an ointment or a cream, and it's going to do something. Well, it's not. Best case scenario, it's not going to help you at all. Worst case scenario, it's actually going to do harm.
Well, when they expire, and it depends on the medication, some become stronger, some become weaker. And regular
you don't know.
People like us,
we don't know. Yeah, we don't know the difference. All right, so that's this weekend. Also that's Saturday. Also Saturday, the city of Westfield is doing their 2024 Earth Day cleanup. So if you'd like to participate in that, you can do all of this. You can really do all of this stuff at one time. They are meeting at the Masonic Lodge, which is 72 Broad Street. For breakfast is served. And then they are doing lunch at noon. If you would like to volunteer to help out with the cleanup, safety vests, gloves, bags, buckets, picks will all be provided. So all you have to do is show up, have breakfast, and go out and start cleaning up. Also, though, in that parking lot, which is another thing that I'm working on, drop off for used clothing, textiles, and lightly used goods will to donate to Heart Springs Foundation. And last year, when I had Joe Rouse on from the Department of Health, he was saying that in Massachusetts passed a law now, you are not supposed to throw textiles in the trash.
Right.
They need to be recycled. So now what I do is I take my textiles that are beyond clothing and like T-shirts beyond repair. I wash them. Everything's cleaned. And I put those in a bag saying textiles appropriate for recycling. Clean textiles appropriate for recycling. So that because then I have other clothes that are, these are, just outgrown and usable clothes.
I always feel bad putting torn, ruined clothing into the donation bag, but now I'm going to label
Well, that's what I do. I just label. I put all of those in a plastic bag, and so that it's clear that it's like these. I know these are ripped, and I don't expect somebody to wear them, but I can't throw them in the trash, and I'm supposed to recycle them, so here you go. So they will be in the parking lot at the Masonic Lodge. So there is a whole lot of stuff going on there. All right, now, because we have Jen DeFune here, we have to talk a little bit about some upcoming programs at the Senior Center. So the Diabetes Dialogue Support and Education Group will meet. Are they going to meet on Tuesday, next Tuesday? Okay, because Jen had to do some rescheduling.
Yes, I sent you,
Okay, I haven't gotten that far yet. I did go to my office today before I came here, but I haven't checked my email yet. So it will be the topic. It's first of all, the group meets on the last Tuesday of the month, which is next Tuesday, from 1:30 to 2:30. Do we have 5 Tuesdays in April? Is that why you got messed up? Is that where we are? You don't even know. We don't know what day it is.
No.
Anyway, they will be meeting next Tuesday, which is April 30th from 1:30 to 2:30. Yep. And this is a support and education group, and we label it that way.
Right.
So Jen has, there's always a topic of discussion. Then I get the sense that what happens is that there's the topic of discussion, and then sort of after the formal part is done, there's probably like this informal with a lot of people chit-chatting.
There is chit-chat. We tend to do more interactive activities, so everyone's not just sitting there with you lecturing to them.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's prizes.
Oh.
Because who doesn't want to win something?
I know, right?
So I try and make it fun.
Good.
Know, because you'll remember that more
yes.
than if somebody just talks at you.
Yeah, for sure. So the topic that we had advertised was how to manage your diabetes when you're sick. I did not realize, because that's what Jen told me she was going to talk about in April, but she actually jumped the gun and talked about it in March.
Yeah.
So now the new topic for next week is managing your cholesterol. So that's what you're going to be talking about next week.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Please tell me. That's what we agreed on. I have it somewhere in writing, Jen, on my cell phone.
The thing is, I'm so well versed.
I know you could talk about all this stuff, which is great. Okay, so also happening at the Senior Center, 2 things that I need to talk about that are upcoming and important. One is today, Wednesday, April 24th, this morning at 10:30. And it's not too late to jump in, but you need to call us as soon as the phones open at 8:30. The 3 Ps of senior investment fraud. We have attorney Eric Giroux from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission coming out from Boston. Participants will learn the 3 Ps: profile of the typical investment fraud victim, persuasion tactics that con artists use, and then prevention tips. So how to prevent yourself from becoming a victim. And I am telling you, victims are all walks of life. They're well-educated, not well-educated, rich, poor, male, female. It doesn't matter. They'll hit you. My niece was a victim of fraud. She was embarrassed. She's got a master's degree. She's on top of her game. And she was a victim. We've had staff members who were victims. We've had seniors. Because you get caught off guard. Right. And that's exactly what happened to my niece. She was working on a big project at work. She's a mom. She's living far away from her family, so she doesn't have a whole lot of family support to help with childcare and all this other stuff. It was the holidays.
Yeah, you get overwhelmed.
She got a phone call, and it was like, we need these bank statements because blah, 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 and we're from the IRS or whatever they told her they were from. She said she gave out the information, and 2 hours later kind of went, oh, my God, what did I do? And sure enough. So anybody can be a victim. So anyway, that's today at the Senior Center. But again, we would need to know right away. So if you do want to jump into that, call us at 8:30. And tomorrow at the Senior Center is Wacky Tacky Day, my personal favorite on our parties. So Wacky Tacky Day, Jen, you could really do this on a personal level. Wacky Tacky Day started in the old senior center because you've been in the old senior center. There was like 0 room there.
Right.
So after I'd been there for a couple of years and we started, having parties and things like that, I realized that I was accumulating leftover stuff. You throw a party and you have leftover placemats. You have leftover wrapped utensils, napkins, paper plates, all this stuff. And I was like, what do I do with I have 10, or I have 3 of something So my solution was to gather them all up, count them, and it's lo and behold, at the old senior center, I had 65 when I put all the paper plates together or I put all the placemats together. I was like, well, that's enough. Nothing matches.
Right.
And so we started having annual parties called Wacky Tacky Days.
Oh, cute.
So Wacky Tacky Day is you take all the leftover stuff, so nothing matches. So then, of course, that's the setting.
Yeah.
So, we have 16 tables. We probably have about 8 or 9 different tablecloth colors. Because I always get one extra, it's in case somebody spills something, we have to do this. So, you got whatever. We got all kinds of colors. We have napkins from every holiday. So, Christmas, Halloween, birthday, whatever. Paper cups from all different things. But then, we thought, well, you really need to match this with what you wear. So Wacky Tacky Day is you can wear whatever the heck you want. You dig back in your closet, you find a T-shirt from high school, it's
fun.
Yeah, it's the stuff that's embarrassing that, your spouse brings something out and it's like, my God, you can't wear that. It's
right.
It's a road race you ran and the date is on it. It's from 1995. You can't do that. Well, you can on Wacky Tacky Day. You can wear things that don't match. We encourage that. Crazy hats. And I'm really excited this year because Carol Palmer is going to be attending Wacky Tacky Day. Carol Palmer just teaches her class and you never know what the heck she's going to show up wearing. Or she does the show with me once a month now and you never know what she's going to put on her head. So she'll be there and I'm sure that'll be in full force. Unfortunately, it is a ticketed event and we are sold out. So, and the menu, of course, also has to be Wacky Tacky. So we're serving Thanksgiving dinner.
Of course.
Because we had turkeys in the freezer.
That's perfect.
So there it is. So that is tomorrow. And there's no curbside tomorrow. Okay, so that is all of that. That's good. We're good. It is 7:23. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. I'm trying to see so this song, this is not a song that I typically would do on my show. It's kind of a rap song. It's called I Can by Naz. But it's in honor of National Community College Month, and it really talks about, it's a great video. It's a really powerful video. There are kids involved, but it's really talking about what you can do if you put your mind to it. So I chose this one in honor of National Community College Month. We will be back.
Boys and girls, listen up. You can be anything in the world, and God we trust. An architect, doctor, maybe an actress, but nothing comes easy. It takes much practice. Like I met a woman who's becoming a star. She was very beautiful, leaving people in awe. Singing songs, Lena Horne, but the younger version hung with the wrong person. Got her strung on that. Sniffing up drugs, all in the nose. Could've died so young, now looks ugly and old. No fun, cause now when she reaches for hugs, people hold their breath, cause she smells of corrosion and death. Watch the company you keep and the crowd you bring, cause they came to do drugs and you came to sing. So if you're gonna be the best, I'ma tell you how. Put your hand in the air and take the vow. I know I can. I know I can. Be what I wanna be. Be what I wanna be. If I work hard at it. If I work hard at it. I'll be where I wanna be. I'll be where I wanna be. Boys and girls, listen again. This is for grown-looking girls who's only 10. The ones who watch videos and do what they see. As cute as can be, up in the club with fake ID. Careful, before you meet a man with HIV. You can host a TV like Oprah Winfrey. Whatever you decide, be careful, some men be rapists. So act your age, don't pretend to be older than you are. Give yourself time to grow. You're thinking he can give you wealth, but so young boys, you can use a lot of help, you know. You're thinking life's all about smoking and ice. You don't wanna be my age and can't read and write. Begging different women for a place to sleep at night. Smart boys turn them in and do whatever they wish. If you believe you can achieve, then say it like this. I know I can.
I know I can.
Be what I wanna be.
Be what I wanna be.
If I work hard at it.
If I work hard at it.
I'll be where I wanna be.
I'll be where I wanna
now,
be.
go.
I know I can. I know I can. Be what I wanna be. Be what I wanna be. If I work hard at it. If I work hard at it. I'll be where I wanna be. I'll be where I wanna be.
Before we came to this country, we were kings and queens, never porch monkeys. There was empires in Africa called Kush, Timbuktu, where every race came to get books to learn from black teachers who taught Greeks and Romans, Asian Arabs, and gave them gold. When gold was converted to money, it all changed. Money then became empowerment for Europeans. The Persian military invaded. They heard about the gold, the teachings, and everything sacred. Africa was almost robbed naked. Slavery was money, so they began making slave ships. Egypt was the place that Alexander the Great went. He wasn't shocked at the mountains with black faces, shot up their nose to impose what basically still goes on today. You see, if the truth is told, the youth can grow. They'll learn to survive until they gain control. Nobody says you have to be gangsters. Read more, learn more, change the globe. Ghetto children, do your thing. Hold your head up, little man, you're a king. Young princess, when you get your wedding ring, your man is saying, she's my queen. I know I can.
I know I can.
Be what I wanna be.
Be what I wanna be.
If I work hard at it.
If I work hard at it.
I'll be where I wanna be.
I'll be where I wanna be. I know I can. I know I can. Be what I wanna be. Be what I wanna be. If I work hard at it. If I work hard at it. I'll be where I wanna be. I'll be where I wanna be.
Save the music, y'all. Save the music, y'all. Save the music, y'all. Save the music, y'all.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
This is Ken Stomsky from Ken's Den on WCPC 15 and 89.5 FM, Tuesdays, 8 to 10.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:29. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in the studio this morning with Jen DeFune. Jen is our resident dietitian, we like to say, and this is our Food for Thought segment. So we'll be talking about prostate health is the topic for the day. But, you know, I just want to go back for 1 second because we were talking off air, Jen, about community colleges and the importance of community colleges. We're really highlighting that today because April is National Community College Month. And you were sharing a story about how you, and I haven't shared with you mine. So let's swap stories on our own community college experiences.
Right. So I did not go to college for nutrition. I started out in psychology, and then it's a long story for another day, but I wound up switching into nutrition, but I was behind the ball, you know, in the program I was at. So I had to take tons of classes at night, weekends, summer, so that I get all the prerequisites done before the regular classes. Right. So I had to take, it was anatomy and physiology, 2 semesters, and I had to take it somewhere.
Yes,
So I found Cayuga County Community College, which it was a great class. I loved it. It was small. There were only like 9 of us there, but I just love saying Cayuga County Community College because it just it rolls up.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
But yeah, it was college. I mean, people looked, at least my perspective is people looked down on community colleges, and I think that probably persists till today. But it was the same level of education that I was getting at the university that I was at. I was at Syracuse University, and it was tough. It was a tough class.
Yeah, they're not. Well, you know, I think that perception is changing. I really do. I think it's changing. I think the community colleges were way ahead of the game in terms of really focusing on non-traditional students who have careers and full-time jobs, but maybe either want to switch careers or want to just further their career. And so when you are dealing with those kinds of students, you know, I mean, you know, even now, and we were talking about Grace before because she's back at school, but you know, I mean, as a single mom, you know, there are times she's contacting her professor saying, I was up with the baby 6 times last night. You know, there's no way I'm coming in for an 8 o'clock class.
Right.
But, you know, I can do that. And, you know, they're wonderful about online stuff and, you know, the lectures and all this other stuff. I mean, she is at the top of her class. She is she's doing remarkably well, and they know that and they respect that. So it's like, okay, no worries, you know.
Well, you know, I was in school full time at Syracuse. I was an RA, so I was working around
hard.
the clock.
That's a resident advisor for those who don't know, in the dorm.
And I had arranged my own internships stuff, and I'm going to this class at 7:30 at night for 3 hours, and there's only 9 of us.
Yeah.
And we were at these long tables, and I loved this class. And I remember clearly asking a question, and the professor said, let me just finish this and I'll get back to it. I fell soundly asleep across the table.
Oh, yeah.
And it was mortifying. Yeah. But they all understood
they
because
did.
Everyone else was double and triple loading their schedules, and they just let me wake up.
Kind of in the same boat. Yeah, you know, kind of in the same boat. Yeah. Well, last week, Grace contacted her professor like first thing in the morning and said, you know, we have a part-time nanny who helps out 3 mornings a week while Grace is in class and Gary and I are at work. And, you know, Grace said she had to go to a doctor's appointment that got rescheduled. She can't be here early enough. My mom's got the cable show. Can I do, instead of coming to the, 8 o'clock lab, can I come to the 9 o'clock lab or the 9:30 lab, whatever it is? And, her professor was like, yeah, no problem. We'll see you, come in later. And, so I think there's a lot of accommodating.
Yes.
Obviously the students aren't taking advantage of that. You're doing what you need to do. Well, my own community college story, it was actually community college that helped me to graduate. So here's my story. I did go to a 4-year school, and I finished my program in 4 years. My last semester, because I too had switched majors, I started as an early childhood and ended up doing social work with a geriatric population. So talk about going from this end of the spectrum to that. But my last semester, I did an internship. And I could only do so many credits of internship, whatever the max was, 10 credit, whatever it was. And I actually I was working at it was a group, it was called Boys Home. And they called it Boys Home on the Hill. It was a group setting for troubled youth. I mean, this was the last stop before juvenile detention. So these were kids that had gotten in trouble, whether it was at school, and, all family kind of weird stuff. And this was in Southwest Virginia. So we were very close to because I went to school in Virginia. So this was very close to the West Virginia border.
Okay.
So a very rural area. Well, when I sat down with my advisor right before my last semester, we figured out that I'm going to do this, this internship, which I had really, really wanted. And it was like I lived there. I lived with these kids for a semester. Okay. Right. But I was going to be 1 credit short of graduation.
Oh, no.
1 credit short. And I'm in the middle of nowhere. I mean, this is in, 15 miles from West Virginia. There was no online. There was no Zoom. There were no computers. We were still using typewriters.
Right.
So it turns out, I brought this to the attention of my supervisor, my soon-to-be supervisor at my placement, who said that he had arranged for the staff at Boys Home, and so these were all house parents. So they were, and they were people they weren't college educated people. They were, on the job training.
Yeah.
So he had arranged for someone from the local community college down there to come to campus and teach a 1-credit course, which for them, they didn't need the credit. They were just auditing it. I needed the credit.
Right.
So, and it was all spelled out, with what the outline was. So I took the outline to my advisor at James Madison University and said, this is going to be offered. I'm going to be living there, so I can take this course. It's a 1-semester course. It meets, once a week for 3 hours or whatever it was, 2 hours, whatever it was. And so I had to get it approved by JMU, but they did. They approved it. And were it not for that course, I would have been 1 credit shy. And those were the days where they didn't let you walk if you were credit shy.
Right.
Like I would have had to take something over the summer, and then I would have had to walk the following year, which I would have never done because I'm not going to, move away and then come back.
Later,
It's one thing if the school is like down the street. This was 7 hours from where I lived in New Jersey. So, so that was my... And I can't even tell you that I can't remember the name of the community college, but there it is on my transcripts. It's I got this 1 credit, I got an A, in this 1 credit course. But, and it was really, it was a wonderful course because it was really good for the house parents that were there because, you had this professor that was, was a lot about child development. And, we worked primarily with mostly like middle school teenagers, but we took kids as young as 6.
Okay.
And they could stay until they graduated high school, which was 21.
Wow.
So they were in, I think we had 7 or 8 homes, group homes on the campus. And then each home had parents and support staff and all that kind of stuff. And so, we had the parents that were dealing with the really young kids, and then we had the house parents that were dealing with the high school kids, and then everybody in between. And all boys. They were all kids. And some other day, we'll talk about my field trip that I was elected to go, because the 8th graders every year would do a field trip to Washington, D.C., was it? No, to Richmond. I think we went to Richmond, the capital of Virginia. And so it was like a 3-day trip. So it was 2 nights away. Yeah, because it was like a 5 or 6 hour drive. And so Boys Home would send, and because Boys Home had like 10 kids that fit in that age group, the school said, you have to send your own chaperones. And because they were troubled kids, you have to send your own chaperones. So you have to have 2 chaperones. And so I got called into the office to say,
Guess what?
Tag, you're it. You're the intern. You get to go on this field trip. And I just, oh my God, I could write a book about the stories on that field trip. But anyway, that's for another day. All right. So Jen, we're going to talk about prostate health.
Okay.
What you got?
Well, first of all, nobody talks about this.
No.
And
they don't.
What shocks me is if you look at the statistics, 1 in 8 men in their lifetime will end up with prostate cancer. And if you look at the types of cancer that men die from, it's the 2nd leading cause. Why is there not more discussion about it?
Wow, I am shocked.
Yep. I looked up a bunch of stats, so I'll just give you them.
Yeah, go ahead.
This year, the American Cancer Society is predicting there will be more than 299,000 cases of prostate cancer diagnosed. Wow. And so who is being affected? Usually it's not seen in men under 45. So if you are under 45, you're more likely to have a more aggressive form.
Gotcha.
So you have to be concerned. Most men are diagnosed at around 67. That's the average age. But when you hit 50, that's when it starts to show up.
Yep.
So, that's not a big window.
No.
Under 45 to 50. It should be a bigger deal.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about women and breast cancer.
We do.
And, I understand these are sensitive parts of the body, but they shouldn't be. We should be talking about
they're
it.
Parts of the body.
Parts of the body.
Right.
And this is important.
Yeah.
So there are people who go, well, why am I getting this?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we're not 100% sure of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do know is the 3 leading risk factors being African American.
Okay.
But you can get it at any race.
Sure, of course.
Or ethnic background. Being over 50. And although there's not necessarily a genetic direct link that if someone in your family has it, you're going to get it. But if you have multiple men in the family who have it, you're at greater risk.
You're more likely.
So those are the three leading ones. But there are some that are highly suspect, but they need more research.
Okay.
So anyone who's exposed to excessive levels of arsenic, so people who work in manufacturing, if years ago there was chemicals used, they could have arsenic in it. Agent Orange, so anyone who was in the Vietnam era, and firefighters, they have so many chemicals on the protective gear they wear. They suspect that some of the chemicals may be making a difference. And to my great surprise, dairy, excessive dairy may be linked to some prostate issues.
Really?
But a lot more research has to happen.
Okay.
And obesity. So these are highly suspected to increase your risk.
Okay.
Then there are some that people are concerned about, but really we need so much more research.
Yeah, we don't know.
Can't even
we don't know.
say,
Okay.
but
all right.
inflammation.
Okay.
And we have found inflammation seems to play a huge role in many body parts. What they're finding is if they find prostate cancer and they remove the tissue, they also find inflammation. So how are they directly related? Is the inflammation there because of the cancer, or was the inflammation there that led to the cancer?
Right.
Having a vasectomy. Is it
really?
Is it a problem or is it not? They're trying to figure that out. And STDs, so sexually transmitted diseases, may have an impact. They're not sure yet.
Okay.
So those three, they need to do a significant amount of research. Then there's one thing that is a red flag, and that's smoking. Now, they haven't been able to link smoking to a risk factor of prostate cancer. However, they have found that if you have prostate cancer and you smoke, you're at a greater risk of dying from the prostate cancer.
Okay.
So, people think mostly of lungs when they're dealing, or mouth if it's chewing tobacco. But there are so many chemicals. I believe I read somewhere there's over 2,000 chemicals in a cigarette, from what they put on the tobacco in the fields to the processing, whatever. Who knows what's in there?
Yeah.
But it's important for men to regularly get checked. Now, I don't know enough about what happens,
That's okay
when you get checked, but
because I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to follow this up with Dr. Lovelace, and we're going to talk more about that medical piece of it with Dr. Lovelace. In fact, I can have him talk about it next month.
Perfect.
So there we go.
Okay. So there are two areas that I want to focus on for nutrition.
Okay.
First is what everyone can do to decrease the risk of developing cancer, and then specifically what they're saying about prostate.
Okay.
So when it comes to all cancers, there are some generalities that everybody could adhere to.
Okay.
One is loading up on vegetables, particularly the non-starchy veggies, which is basically any veggie you can think of other than peas, corn, and potatoes. So from arugula down to zucchini and back, they're less starchy. It doesn't mean that you can't eat the starchy ones, but when we're talking about cancer prevention, we focus a lot on the non-starchy, although eating sweet potatoes to get the vitamin A and the white potatoes to get the C, all of those are good for you. And fruit as well. So I push the non-starchy veggies more than anything because they're good sources of naturally existing plant chemicals. They're good sources of fiber. They're low in calories, low in carbs. But
why not?
Having at least 5 servings of the veggies and the fruit a day. Some recommendations are up to 8 to 10 servings. So it depends on how you want to eat, but more veggies, the better in my book. Choosing whole grains over white, refined, processed foods. heart-healthy fats. I mean, I've talked about this so many times, but olive oil, avocado, nuts, nut butters, limiting alcohol. So when it comes to women, it's recommended that you have no more than 1 alcohol drink a day, and men, it's 2. Now, if you're on meds or you have other health issues, that may be different. And 1 drink is 1 12-ounce beer or a 4 to 5 ounce glass of wine, or if it's, sorry, I have a fly. If it's a liquor drink, it's 1 shot.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Limiting red meat, and for many health reasons. Cutting down on the highly processed foods, which we talked about a couple months ago. And so what that means is the pre-made, ready-to-eat meals and snacks, the pepperoni, bologna, bacon, like all the things that are heavily processed, and limiting your sugar-sweetened drinks and energy drinks. I normally am everything can be included in the diet in limited amounts, but when it comes to energy drinks, I'm just flat out no.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So everyone can follow those. Then there are some specific things that are being linked to either decreasing your risk of prostate cancer or helping decrease growth of the cancerous cells. So, it's important to focus on these. The reason the foods help is that there are naturally existing plant chemicals in them. They're called phytochemicals. That's what that word means if you ever see it in the literature.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, so most people are aware of omega-3 fatty acids. Those are basically in fish, and they're linking the omega-3s to all of this protection and decreasing the risk. So I've always remembered the top fish that have omega-3s in an acronym, which is SMASH.
Okay, what do we have?
Salmon.
Salmon, yeah.
Mackerel, anchovy, sardine, haddock.
Wow.
SMASH.
Okay.
I learned it in college.
It's okay.
And then I always tack on white albacore tuna at the end because it doesn't fit the acronym, but it's the next, it's high and it's inexpensive. So when you're trying to be healthy but not spend, your second mortgage at the supermarket, salmon versus white albacore tuna wins all the time because it's more economical. So another thing that we can look into is called lycopene. Lycopene is a naturally existing plant chemical that we find mostly in red-colored produce. Okay. It's very strong, concentrated in tomato products.
Okay.
And the more...
That's so funny. I didn't even think about tomatoes. I'm thinking like red cabbage, red peppers,
All of it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So the more concentrated the tomato product, the greater amount of lycopene. So, for example, tomato paste versus a tomato. The tomato paste will have much more because it's cooked down.
Right.
I always think spinach doesn't have lycopene, but if you can... I don't even know if spinach has lycopene, honestly. But you take a big bag of spinach, and you cook it, and you get half a cup.
And it comes to here.
Yeah. So you take a bunch of tomatoes, you cook them down, you get tomato paste.
Yeah. Okay.
So any kind of tomato product, tomato juice, tomato sauce, the cooked down version is going to be more concentrated. The one thing to be careful of is the sodium content.
Right.
Okay. But you can also get lycopene in guava, watermelon, papaya, persimmon, grapefruit, and mango. So reddish orange.
Okay.
Now, the one thing I will caution people about is the grapefruit can interfere with a lot of medications. So you may want to pick something else.
Yeah.
And then veggies, the red cabbage, the red pepper, but you can also find it in asparagus in pretty good quantity.
Okay.
So I know it's not red, but well, actually, you can get some purple asparagus nowadays.
Okay. All right. And this is lycopene? Lycopene.
Yeah, and I don't think you have to remember lycopene. I just think you remember
curious.
tomato products.
Okay. And lycopene specifically for prostate cancer.
All of these are prostate now.
Okay.
Either prevent slow growth,
Yeah, because that is the one thing about prostate cancer. I mean, you threw out that stat, 1 in 8 men, and I believe that because that it is very common.
Right.
But you'll also hear physicians talking about watchful waiting. It's like, okay, we know that this is brewing, but we're just going to keep an eye on it. There's nothing to be done right now. And so these are ways that you can manage them, back it up.
Yep.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, a lot from what I understand, and I need to do more research, there's a lot of slow growth prostate cancer.
Yep.
Okay, another naturally existing plant chemical is, and I have a hard time pronouncing it, sulforaphane. Okay, so think sulfa. Sulfa-based. So we have a classification of vegetables called cruciferous vegetables. A lot of people have heard that. And cruciferous vegetables simply mean they have sulfur in them.
Okay.
And so these have been shown to target cancer cells, but not healthy cells in the prostate.
Okay.
So yay, that's
yay is I know that's pretty
and
great.
What's nice about these is they're very common. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, kale, cabbage, cauliflower, anything that you can think of that is a sulfur base.
Okay.
Most people will know them as the veggies that make them gassy.
Okay, thank you. Well, that helps the rest of us because I'm thinking to myself, I don't know sulfur-based from non-sulfur-based.
It's the ones that make you gassy.
Okay, there you go.
It's best, you get the most bang for your buck if you eat them raw, but you don't have to eat them raw. But you can always put some cabbage in a salad.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, you can.
Those they're all in my salad.
Yeah, broccoli with some hummus. I mean, but you can still cook them. The one thing I would suggest though is that you don't boil them because boiling significantly decreases the impact from the sulforaphane.
What would you do? Steam them?
You can steam.
I'm big on steaming right now.
Yeah, it's being in the water.
Okay.
From what I understand.
All right. Understood.
But I'm a big roast person.
Okay.
I roast every vegetable I can.
You're a roaster.
Yeah, I love roasting.
Okay.
And then there are naturally existing plant chemicals called isoflavones. Isoflavones can lower your risk of developing the cancer in the first place.
Okay.
And isoflavones are found in legumes. So legumes are chickpeas, lentils, peanuts. Most people don't think of peanuts. They think they're nuts, but they're truly legumes.
Okay.
It's black beans, any of the beans.
Yeah, I think of the beans. Yeah. That's what I think of when I think of legumes.
And soybeans. Now, some people are afraid of soybeans because they read that soy is like estrogen, and estrogen increases the risk of cancer, but they are not. They're not estrogen. They're estrogen-like, and they have been found to be hugely beneficial.
Okay.
So how do you do this? And most people aren't going to take out a block of tofu all of a sudden and start eating that. But an easy way to have them, edamame beans. They look like lima beans.
Yes.
They're in the frozen food section.
Okay.
And you can cook them up and eat them like a vegetable, you can microwave them. They're super simple. I will let them defrost and throw them on a salad. I also snack on them. Yeah, I like them.
Interesting. Do they have like crunch or what do they have? Or no, are they kind of mushy?
They're kind of like lima beans.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that same texture.
Yeah, okay.
But they don't taste like lima beans.
Okay.
I don't know how
are
to
they
describe
what color are they?
Green. They
are green.
They're like a light
white.
green.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And the last two, one is green tea. Green tea has 3 naturally existing plant chemicals. They're still not sure which of these or if all of them combined need to be there. They have really long names, but xanthine, epigallocatechin gallate, and epicatechin. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Drink your green tea.
So drink green tea.
Yeah,
green tea has been shown to decrease tumor growth, lower cell death, so the healthy cells, we don't want them to die.
Right, of course.
And to influence hormone signaling, which means, to help the body take care of itself. Perfect. So green tea is great. You just have to be careful about not overloading on caffeine. You can get decaffeinated.
Yes. And just pay attention to that.
And then my favorite new one is pumpkin seeds.
I love pumpkin seeds.
So pumpkin seeds contain, these are such hard words to say, cucurbitacin.
Yeah, well, we don't know what that means anyway.
So it's a naturally existing plant chemical which helps prevent prostate growth. Pumpkin seeds also offer antioxidants. So you have healthy cells. You throw in something called a free radical that kind of goes through like a Tasmanian devil and causes all damage, and oxidation occurs. It's like having rust in your body.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really rust,
but
ruins
it's
everything.
kind of the same
so
idea.
Antioxidants
Something you don't want.
go in and fix that or
Okay.
prevent it. Pumpkin seeds are also shown to be anti-inflammatory. So who doesn't love a few pumpkin seeds?
Now, it's interesting. What about, because I've never asked this question, and I love pumpkin seeds.
Yeah.
What about the actual pumpkin? Does that do anything or no? Not necessarily.
You know, I'm not really sure because it
just
I'll
something
have to look
something
more
to look
into
up
it.
because
Yeah.
I and you know that question just occurred to me only because I've heard about the benefits of pumpkin seeds, you know, for other things and for other reasons, and I love them. I think roasted pumpkin seeds are pretty delicious, but it did kind of make me think about well, what about the actual pumpkin, which I also
So there's
love,
probably
but,
some
you know,
in there.
I'd be
One
curious.
thing that I found is it's also in things like zucchini, cucumber, melon, squash. So I'll look more into that.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
However, having said all of this, my general rule of thumb with all of nutrition is some is good, more is not necessarily better. And curcure, whatever, the plant chemical in pumpkin seeds that is beneficial, too much can actually be bad for you.
Yeah.
So the study that I saw said 2 tablespoons a day.
Okay.
So, you know.
And, you know, I think that's really an important point, Jen, not to be glossed over that, you know, because some people will do that. It's like, oh, my gosh, I hear this is good for you. And it's like it turns into the, I mean, you know, years ago, remember, we had the grapefruit diet and we have the this, we have that. And, you know, this becomes the focus of what, and it's kind of like, no, that's not necessarily going to be helpful at all.
No,
you know? I mean,
it's
people
just
really need
share
to
the
know what
wealth.
they're doing
Get-
nutritionally.
Yeah, get little bits of all of it to back up your health condition. And the one thing I will encourage people not to do is go out and buy a bunch of supplements that might have, you know,
All of
these
this stuff in them,
chemicals in
yeah.
them, because there have been a lot of studies, not pertaining to prostate, but there have been studies where if you eat the food, it's beneficial. If you take the supplements, it's not.
Not so much.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's a really good point too. I mean, and you know, I mean, your role is you are a nutritionist. So your role is to help us to understand what foods are beneficial, how much, how to prepare them, because that makes a difference too, as you were just saying, you know, whether something's roasted or steamed versus boiled in water. And I think that's, you know, that's what's, I find that to be really helpful.
Well,
you know,
you
when
want
we're
to
just
know
doing our prep.
Yeah. You
want to
need know how to
maximize,
use them.
right? You want to maximize the benefits of these foods, and in order to do that, it's like, okay, prep is you know, is a big part of it. Is a big part of it.
Right.
My guest this morning is Jen Jaffoon, registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist. And Jen, we're wrapping up. So just let people know if they would like to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
So you can call me. My phone number is 413-579-5450. Or you can email me. I'm Jen at jenthedietitian.com.
I know. I love that because it's like it's the easiest email that I have in my little address book.
And I have a webpage, jenthedietitian.com.
There you go. And Jen, just as a reminder, Jen facilitates our diabetes dialogue support and education group. They meet the last Tuesday of the month at the Senior Center. They'll be meeting next Tuesday from 1:30 to 2:30, and the topic will be managing your cholesterol.
And everyone's welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that includes, and we have this, family members, spouses, etc.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you. I will see you in 2 weeks. Next week is a best of show. We're going to be, Pete's going to play our, the session that I did last week with Dr. Lovelace, which was just really an interesting interview. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Remember, Run Westfield, May 4th. Here I am, like Run Westfield with my shirt on. Harry Rock is up next. He's got some guests from Articulture coming on. I will see you in 2. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks.
It's falling apart. I was late for work and the boss got smart. My panty line shows, got a run on my hose. My hair went flat. Man, I hate that. Hate that. Oh. Just so when I thought things couldn't get worse, I realized I forgot my purse. With all this stress, I must confess, this could be worse than PMS. This job ain't worth the pay. Can't wait till the end of the day. Hey, honey, I'm on my way. Hey, 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 honey, I'm home and had a hard day. Pour me a cold one and oh, by the way, they rub my feet, give me something to eat, fix me up my favorite treat. Honey, I'm back, my head's killing me. I need to relax and watch TV. Get off the phone, give a dog a bone. Hey, hey, honey, I'm home. A broken nail open in the mail. I cursed out loud cause it hurt like hell. This job's a pain, it's so mundane. It sure don't stimulate my brain. This job ain't worth the pay. Can't wait till the end of the day. Hey, honey, I'm on my way. Hey, 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 honey, I'm home and had a hard day. Pour me a cold one and oh, by the way, they rub my feet, give me something to eat, fix me up my favorite treat. Honey, I'm back, my head's killing me. I need to relax and watch TV. Get off the phone, give a dog a bone. Hey, hey, honey, I'm home. Oh, rub my neck, will you? Yeah. Honey, I'm home and I had a hard day. Pour me a cold one and oh, by the way, rub my feet, give me something to eat, fix me up my favorite treat. Honey, I'm back, my head's killing me. I need to relax and watch TV. Get off the phone, give a dog a bone. Hey, hey, honey, I'm home. I'm home. Oh, it feels much better.